So, is the amount of space surrounding Earth inherent to Earth or inherent to some jar that the universe is contained in and allegedly doesn't have an end because expansion and whatnot? That metaphor makes it kind of easier to see, that people like Einstein and yada yada yada, there's always a divergence in science between people who believe that the universe is alive and people who are not willing to open their minds to that. And so you look at people like Einstein, you look at people like Plato, you look at people like Penrose, you look at their beliefs on what their theories really boil down to. And so some people think that space is a grid with real coordinates, and some people think that space is a property of mass. And space being a property of mass would change a lot of things. For example, in multiverse theory, where could an other universe be if it's not within this universe? You understand what I'm saying? Well, how about this? I propose that if two objects don't have enough space because of their mass proportions to each other, then those objects cannot interact. You know what I'm saying? An object's space is equal in a proportional distribution to the amount of mass that object has. And so all you would have to do is like energize the expansion of, the distance between them, which is where things get blurry because, distance becomes less of a precise measurement and more of a way that things are interacting. And so the problem with space being a property of mass is that there's no one thing that has its own mass because all things with mass are connected. Unless you consider the entire universe as one physical object with X amount of space, and it's distributed evenly among the things within it. And then there's some around it. Well, only enough space around the entire universe that it can't physically come in contact with another universe. So they're separated. People are looking at multiverse theory again, and people are looking at string theory again, which I've never looked away from because I understand multidimensionality. And basically, strings might not even exist, but the universe behaves as though they do. And just check out the new light crystals and time crystals that people have been making. The light thing is more like a hologram than a crystal, but it's anyway, the whole point of the video is to make you believe that there is no real place and the universe is nowhere. And the illusion of a setting is something that is created with light, shadow, eyeball values, like parameters of things interacting with, and ears, So the whole experience we have is that reality outside of us is something that hits you on the head when you know it's there. Reality is what your world simulation within your consciousness is responding to. The colors you see are not there. They are what you create subconsciously. knowing this is key, because in philosophy you get to a crossroads where you say, should I adjust myself to this or should I change the thing? And having a clear perspective on where that line is will help you I think unrelated, but I think that as the dynamic nature of the universe eventually finds its very last possibility, something might happen, because there are infinite possibilities, but there's a set law of physics, which is why the dynamic nature is paralleled with the fact that that's always the nature of it. You know what I'm saying? So there's like this constant change. And really what it is just energy. Because when you think deeply about what energy might be, it could be movement, it could be radiation, it could be things that are change, it could be fire, it could be chemical energy that you burn when you move. But the thing all those things have in common is that they're change. Physical change is energy. And so when you look at things and you don't see, you see fields that are behaving in ways that give rise to matter and antimatter or whatever, and they, cancel each other out. That's the key here, is that, the particles that we classically have determined exist might just be the way that the universe is behaving right now. That might just be a situational thing. There might not be a fundamental energy. I mean, there is, but look within the fabric. Don't look, at the things that are moving, because why are those things moving? Because they're being affected by whatever reality actually is. You know what I'm saying? So that's about all I have to say.